Good morning, friends. Cost sheet. What do you mean by cost? Cost is an expenses incurred to manufacture a product. Say, for example, material, labor, factory expenses, office expenses, administration expenses, selling expenses, and distribution expenses. All those things are called as cost. When we have classified all the elements of cost and show cost in a particular sheet, is called as cost sheet. It helps to identify what is the total cost of the cost of the product, or what could be our selling price, or what could be the amount that could be quoted when we are going for an tender. So we should know, or we should aware about the cost sheet very properly, very properly. So the elements of cost are classified and shown in a particular sheet is called as cost sheet, that will help to identify the total cost of the firm, as well as to determine what is the profit while we are making the sales. Similarly, it helps to determine the selling price of the product, as well as quote the price at the tender. This is the basics of cost sheet, and we shall move with the cost sheet. The first item that has been entered in a cost sheet is direct material. In a previous session, we knew that direct material means a material that is directly used to manufacture a raw material into a finished product. That is called as direct material. Then direct second item will be the direct labor. It means labor means employees. Any amount incurred to an employee who involved in converting the raw material into finished product. Then third entry will be the direct expenses. Expenses that are directly relevant for the manufacturing of goods is called as direct expenses. Total of direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses is called as prime cost. That is called as prime cost. So what do you mean by prime? What do you mean by prime? Prime means the foremost. What do you mean by prime cost? The cost which is most essential to make a product. Without those expenses, we can't have a product. So those costs is called as the prime cost. In prime cost, we have three entries. One is direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. From from prime cost, we have to add factory overhead. What do you mean by overhead? Overhead means indirect expenses. What do you mean by factory overhead? Any expenses incurred in the factory is called as factory overhead. Then, after adding the factory overhead with the prime cost, the answer will be called as works cost, or factory cost, or works cost. From work cost, we have to add office and administration overhead. Office manager salary, stationery, printing, so on, file. These expenses are called as office and administration overhead. Office manager salary is also called as office and administration overhead. So it means any expenses incurred in a factory is a factory overhead. Similarly, any expenses incurred in an office is called as office and administration overhead. After adding the administration overhead, the result will be called as cost of production. From the cost of production, we have to add the selling and distribution overhead. Once we have manufactured product, what we will do, we have to distribute the product to the selling point, to the shops. The expenses incurred to transport the product from factory to selling point, that means showroom, is called as distribution overhead. Once the product is reached the selling point, showroom, in a showroom we have to spend certain expenses to sell the product, like advertisement, salesman salary, salesman commission, then bad debt, then discounts we have to be we could offer to the customers, or special coupons. Those things are called as selling overhead. After adding the selling and distribution overhead, the cost will be called as cost of goods sold or total cost. So in prime cost, we involved three items: direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. After that, what we have to add? We have to add a factory overhead. After that, we should add the office and administration overhead. At the end, we have to add the selling and distribution overhead. Similarly, we have the adjustments in factory overhead, as office administration overhead, direct material. We shall see it later. So now we have arrived the total cost. From the total cost, we could add a profit. The final amount will be called as sales. Let me give one example. My total cost is 1 lakh. My estimated profit is 10,000. What will be the selling price? Rupees 1 lakh 10,000. Got it? Suppose, let me give another example. Sales price is rupees 2 lakh. Cost of my sale production is total cost that I've been spent or incurred to manufacture product is 1 lakh 70,000. What will be the profit? What will be the balance amount? The balance amount is 30,000 is a profit. Have you got the point? Okay. Now we shall see the explanation with regard to all other items. Direct material. What we have to do direct material? We have to take the opening stock of raw material. From that, we have to add raw material purchased or raw material consumed or purchase expenses or carriage inward. That means the expenses incurred with regard to raw material. That means purchase expenses, raw material cost, raw material purchase expenses, and carriage inward. What do you mean by carriage inward? Any expenses incurred to carry a product, carry a raw material to our factory is called as carriage inward. So what we are doing here, we have to take the opening stock, add the purchase related expenses, cost of purchased material, purchase expenses, or carriage inward. From that, we have to deduct a few items, that is closing stock of raw material and raw material sold as scrap, so that we could know how much direct material that has been used during this year. Let me give one example. Opening stock of ballpoint pen nib is in a factory. We are manufacturing ballpoint pen. For that, the basic element is nib. We have 1,000 nib in our factory at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, we have only 800. So how much we have consumed? In this case, 200, because opening stock is 1,000, closing stock is 800. So remaining 200 has been gone, that for the production of these goods in this year. You got the point. In that way, we are identifying the material cost of material, direct material, amount of direct material. Is it okay? Let me give another example. My opening stock is thousand rupees. Closing, once at the beginning of the year, I have 1,000 rupees worth of opening stock. During this year, I have purchased 5,000 worth of material. So what will be the material? 1,000 opening stock that has been added is rupees 5,000. So total value is 6,000. At the end of the year, I have only 2,000 stock. So from that 6,000, we could deduct 2,000. What is the net balance? 4,000. It means 4,000 worth of material that has been used for the production during this year. This is the way we could calculate the direct material. So what is the format for direct material? Take the opening stock of raw material, take raw material purchased and the purchase expenses and carriage inward. There's closing stock of raw material, as well as suppose raw material, if any raw material sold is scrapped, that has to be deducted. The final amount is called as direct material. Here, let me give one case. Could you see it here? Raw material consumed rupees. This question, raw material consumed is 5 lakh. Opening stock is 50,000. Closing stock is 25,000. What is the amount of direct material? What is the amount of direct material? What how we can calculate direct material? The format is closing stock of sorry opening stock of raw material. From that we have to add raw material consumed. From that we have to deduct the closing stock of raw material. We could find the amount of direct material. Let me show it here. In this case, what is the amount of opening stock of raw material? Here, what is the amount? 50,000. From that, we have to add raw material consumed. During this year, we have consumed a raw material worth of rupees 5 lakh. So the total amount is 5 lakh 50,000. From that, we have to deduct the closing stock of raw material. What is the closing stock of raw material? 25,000. So here we have added. From that, we have to deduct 25,000 as a closing stock. So the cost of direct material is rupees 5 lakh 25,000. In this way, we could calculate the amount of direct material. So what is the format we have used to measure the amount of direct material? Take the opening stock of raw material, add raw material consumed, less closing stock of raw material. The balance amount is called as direct material. This is the amount we have to show here. So we have to apply note 1. Okay. And we have few examples for direct labor, direct wages, or productive wages are also called as direct labor. Then direct expenses, what are the expenses that we could use as a direct expenses? Chargeable expenses, patent, right, design, and royalty. These are expenses or direct expenses. Here we have listed what are the list of factory overhead. All factory related or works related expenses are factory overhead, and depreciation of plant and machinery, repair and maintenance of assets that has been used in a factory, rent and rate, power and fuel, indirect material, and indirect wages. All those are called as factory overhead. We shall recollect it. Factory overhead includes all factory related expenses, depreciation of plant and machinery, repair and maintenance of plant and machinery, rent and rate, power and fuel, indirect material, and indirect expenses. From that, as usual, we have to add opening work in progress less closing work in progress. In material, what we did, we have taken the opening raw material and we have deducted the closing raw material. Here, in a factory, we won't have a raw material. Rather, we have a works in progress, the semi-completed product. So we have to take the opening stock of work in progress. From that, we have to add all these expenses, and we have to deduct the closing work in progress. The balance amount will be called as factory overhead. For this amount only, we are using this method. And office and administration overhead. What are the item that has been included in office administration overhead is all office related items, telephone and postage, legal charges, bank commission, director fees, and general expenses. These are things that has been done at the office. So all these items to be clubbed and merged as office administration overhead, and we have to be posted here. Okay. At the last expenses to be added is selling and distribution overhead. It includes sales commission, sales, any expense related with the sales, salesman, showroom, warehouse, and travel related items are named as selling and distribution overhead. Similarly, it also includes advertisement, carriage outward. What do you mean by carriage outward? Expenses incurred to transport the finished product to the selling point is called as carriage outward, and delivery van expenses, similarly the bad debt. These are the expenses will be clubbed as a selling and distribution overhead. From that, we have to add opening finished goods and less closing finished goods. So we have a stock of three items: raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. Raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. Raw material is used in direct material, work in progress is used in factory overhead, finished good is used in selling and distribution overhead. Always take the opening stock to be added and deduct the closing stock at the end. Okay. Whereas in a cost sheet, the following expenses will not be included. One is asset related item because all assets is not an expenses. It is not a revenue expenditure rather than it is a capital expenditure. Second item is reserve. Reserve will be shown in the liability side of balance sheet. So it is not a cost. Interest related items like interest on debenture, interest on bank loan. Is it a cost incurred to manufacture product? No, it is not directly related to the converting of raw material into finished products. So it is an indirect. So it will not be included. It is a financial cost. Income tax, that is also financial cost. Dividend, that is a distribution of profit to the shareholders, that will not be shown here. And the preliminary expenses, it means expenses incurred to start the company, so that will not be included in cost sheet. Similarly, the abnormal loss, these expenses will not be shown in a cost sheet since they are capital in nature and financial oriented. Okay. So what is the format for cost sheet? We have to take the direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses to be added. The answer will be prime cost. From that, we have to add factory overhead, office administration overhead, selling and distribution overhead. The total will be called as total cost. From that, we have to add the profit. The final answer will be the sales. Okay. Here we have a problem. Could you prepare the cost sheet for from the following details? Raw material consumed is 80,000, wages is 20,000, works expenses are charged at 100% of wages, office administration overhead is charged at 25% of work cost, and selling overhead is 10% of work cost. We have to take here. Raw material is rupees 80,000. We have posted here. From that, we have to add direct wages. So, as per the format, what we have to take: direct labor, direct material, raw material consumed minus closing raw material. Usually, this is the format. We could go like a format: opening stock of raw material consumed minus closing raw material. In this case, they have given only the raw material consumed. So there is no opening stock, there is no closing stock. So we could apply directly 80,000 at the outer column. The second item is direct wages. That means direct labor. Here they have given 20,000. The next item is direct expenses. Did they give anything? No, they haven't given. So nil. The amount of prime cost is here rupees 1 lakh. Now we could understand the prime cost. From the prime cost, we have to add the factory overhead. Have they given the factory expenses? No, rather than they have given the work expenses are charged at 100% of wages. So factory overhead is the work expenses. What they have given? 100% of wages. What is the amount of wages here? What is the amount of wages here? In this case, the wage amount is 20,000 into 100%. So what is the amount that we could get? 20,000. Okay, the answer is work cost rupees 1,20,000. Okay, from that, office overhead is 25% on work cost. Office administration overhead 25 percentage of work cost. What is the amount of work cost here? 1,20,000. See here, work cost amount is 1,20,000. We have to take 1,20,000 into 25 multiplied by 25 percentage. So out of 1,20,000, 25 percentage is 30,000. When we add that 30,000, we could get the answer of rupees. What is the amount? Rupees 1,50,000. 1,50,000 is cost of production. At the end, what they have given? 10% of work cost as a selling overhead. So selling overhead, write it here, 10 percentage of work cost. Works cost is, what is the amount of work cost is 1,20,000. So 1,20,000 multiplied by 10 percentage. So we could get the amount of rupees 1 lakh, sorry, rupees 12,000. Out of 1,20,000, 10 percentage is 12,000. Here the total cost is 1,62,000. It's a very simplest problem. So we shall recollect the cost sheet again. Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses, factory overhead, office and administration overhead, and selling overhead. We have three type of stock: material stock, raw material stock, work in progress stock, and finished goods stock. Raw material stock will be considered while calculating direct material, and work in progress cost will be considered while calculating the factory overhead. Then selling and then finished product stock will be used while calculating the selling and distribution overhead. Is it okay? Now we could probably say that we knew something about the basics of cost sheet.